Hey, church family, welcome to my office here on Wednesday late afternoon. It's about 4:30, and wanted to take some time and share a couple of updates with you that are important for you to know and some words of encouragement to you as well. Um, I this morning spent the morning in prayer and fasting, and also met with um, about 18 pastors from our community online. We meet have been meeting online, as a lot of people are, but this morning we met for a very special purpose, and that was to pray. As some of you know, I'm part of the Pastors Network here in Chillicothe, and it's a really beautiful thing that we have churches from all over the city and our county, and coming together to support, to fellowship, to pray, to cooperate in ministry. And today we gathered together and just prayed for our city, our nation, our leaders, our medical community. And that was a great time this morning. And I spent about a half an hour today just praying for all of you, my church family, those of you that are home, those of you that aren't working, those of you concerned about your health, and really just pouring out my heart to the Lord, those who are sick. And throughout this day, I've kind of just been spending extra time in prayer and thinking about where we are right now as a community, as a nation, as a church. And I wanted to share some thoughts with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Let me give you a couple of just updates real quick so that you know, in terms of events coming up. Our president extended the Mitigation Plan social distancing for the next 30 days through the month of April. And so we're going to be gathering online as a church every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Right now, we're for certain on Facebook Live, and we're working to get that in a couple other social media platforms like YouTube, and if we are able to, also on our website. But we're still working on that technology. Believe me, this stuff isn't easy when you are doing it on the fly. So streaming is not something that we had committed to as a church, and so we're playing a little bit of catch up right now. We are going to get a newsletter out to everyone. It's going out this Friday to all those who aren't connected online, and we will have that available for those of you who are online through a download. I want to update you on our church's finances, some staff changes taking place, and I want to get that out to everybody here, as soon as possible. And then there was one more thing I want to update you on, but I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. So I'm coming to that. Anyway, we've got, as you know, Easter coming up, and this is going to be our first Easter ever online service, probably in the history of Tabernacle. But God is doing great things even in the midst of this challenge. I got an email on Sunday because at the end of the service, I have a time of invitation and prayer. And matter of fact, let me grab my phone. I want to read this to you that came in almost immediately after the service ended. And this is what this person sent right away. I was led to your service today at such an important time. I've been so worried and nervous because I'm not saved. Repeating the scripture after you today gave me such a sense of peace. Thank you for that peace and calm in such a storm. So God is at work, even if we feel like he's not. God is at work. God is doing good things. I'm getting emails in my inbox from church online platforms that's telling me of all of the decisions. Tens upon tens of thousands of people are turning to the Lord and making peace with God, settling their relationship with God through Christ during this time. So we're seeing our community pull together. We're seeing our churches come together. We're seeing our community feeding those who are hungry, our children, our school systems. A lot of good things are happening in this. And I want to thank you for your giving. We had just an incredibly good and wonderful offering this past Sunday. I think our general giving was almost right at our budget giving. And while I don't expect that to hold every week, it was just amazing. that our church is rising up in faithfulness and giving. So, and I'll have more of that in the financial update letter that we're going to put out here in the next couple days. This is in spite of the good things God is doing, in spite of the good things we believe God will do, I'm not immune to the reality that some of you are experiencing a lot of adversity through this, and you're feeling, starting to feel a heaviness weigh down upon you. And I was thinking that we are indeed in the day of adversity. And, it's kind of like this. When this all first began and schools were called off 2 weeks after, Easter break, and then it's like 3 weeks. And, the first week you take a break, you almost think, good, it'll be nice to have a week off. Maybe we're overreacting to all of this, but we could use a break. Life will slow down a little bit, right? That's kind of week number one. Here's where I think we're getting to today, as I was talking with the other pastors and just people in general. People today are starting to feel like, wow, it's really setting in as we hit April 1st today, that we're in a serious day of adversity here as a nation. And I think about the fact that everyday life for all of us has been interrupted. All of our normal kind of activities have been changed, at least for those of us that are constantly on the go. I read an article today that our culture has been moving at the speed of light for years and years now. So busy, never stopping, always going. And suddenly this event has stopped us in our tracks. And all of us are starting to feel like we're having to adjust for life stopping, not going out and doing normal things. Coupled with the fear that the virus is kind of switching from, COVID-19 is out there in the world. It's creeping ever closer to all of us, right? So, as you go from, there's a virus pandemic in the world, you kind of then move into the next phase, which is, wow, it's in our state, to, wow, I know somebody who knows somebody who has the virus, to, I know somebody who has the virus, to someone in my family might be sick, to me. Your mind is going there. I know it is, because my mind's going there. And I'm thinking, wow, this really is starting to set in, that this is dangerous time, and it's creeping in closer. And as that progression kind of moves closer and closer to us, that fear and anxiety level rises, especially with the fact that all your normal life has stopped. I mean, let's face it, you can watch your favorite shows on YouTube and Netflix and Disney Channel, but you can't do that all the time, right? That boredom starts to set in. And what we're having to do is slow our lives down and think differently. We're having to develop some new strength in the day of adversity. And I want to say a word to those of you who wrestle generally with feelings of melancholy or being blue or even depression. I don't want you to go there. I don't want you to slide into addictions or bad habits or depression. I want to encourage you through this as we come into April 1st and we're looking at the next 30 days to do a couple of things, okay? So here's my thoughts on the day. Number one, I'm going to ask you to change your mindset. I want you to think about where we are right now and change your mindset. Ready? Say this with me. Marathon, not sprint. Say it again. Marathon, not sprint. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. When you run a sprint, you go hard out as fast as you can because it's a short distance and you know the finish line's coming up. So you don't mind expending all of your energy to get to the finish line as fast as you can. When you run a marathon, not that I would know because I'm not a runner, never have been. But when you run a marathon, you have to do what's called a pace. You have to set a pace. You can't run it You can't use all your energy in the first mile or you have nothing left. So you start to pace yourself. You just find your new normal. You find that routine that you're living in each and every moment, and you just put one foot in front of the other and you run. And some of you are going to need to switch your mindset from, oh, this is going to be over quick, to no, we're going to settle in for a while. There's a verse in Proverbs 24. It's a great verse. I've always loved this verse. I don't know why, but this is what it says. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Here's the thing. When adversity comes like this, which is something none of us have dealt with in our lifetime, although certainly our great-grandparents did, our grandparents did, the Great Depression, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam. I mean, people certainly have been through adversity. But for our generation, this is a day of adversity, right? And the tendency is to faint because we're not used to it. Our strength is going to be tested in whole new ways. And I want to encourage you during this time to change your mindset from being a sprint to a marathon. Grow your endurance through this. Grow your strength. Refuse to quit. Refuse to give up. Refuse to give into depression. Build some new habits. You might need to go and spend some time outside, on your deck, on your porch, in your garden. You may need to shut off the news, shut off the television, unplug. We're going to have to learn new skills like, being together and talking things out, and building new daily habits right in the confines of our own homes. But I want to challenge you to change your mindset. We're going to be here for at least the next 30 days. And then we're going to be somewhat here, I think, even into the month of May, right? So we're going to all change our mindsets that this is a marathon, not a sprint. I also want to ask you to fix your hope in the Lord. None of us know where this is going to go. We don't know if it's going to hit those we love, hit us. So I'm fixing my hope in the Lord. This is what Job said. Though he slay me, yet I will hope in him. If whatever God has for my life, I'm going to set my mindset that my hope is in him, right where it needs to be. I am not going to give in. I'm going to refuse to give in every day to fear and anxiety and worry and wonder about things I can't control. I'm going to serve him. I'm going to love him. I'm going to take care of my family as best I can, and I'm just going to fix my hope in him. Third thing I want to ask you to do, change your mindset from sprint to marathon, fix your hope in the Lord. And then the next thing I want to ask you to do is learn to talk out your feelings. If you're feeling down and feeling blue, you need to talk to somebody. You need to connect. This is why our care groups is so important. This is why friendships matter. I think right now I'm sensing that everybody's kind of just pulling in and kind of trying to sort out what this new normal's like, and that's okay. But in the coming days and weeks, we are really going to need to stay connected to people in our lives that bring us joy and help us fix our hope in the Lord, right? Help us stay in that place to give each other that encouragement. So this brings me to my announcement. I am bringing back Tuesday's Word. I put that project on hold. Frankly, it just got kind of overwhelming to have to do that every Tuesday. It felt like I was writing 2 sermons a week, not one. But in light of what we're doing, Tuesday's Word is coming back. But I'm going to do it differently. We are actually going to do Tuesday's Word live using Zoom, using real-time chat. And we're going to do 2 times on Tuesday. This is the plan right now. 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays and 6 p.m. for those of you who are at work and can't make it in the morning session. And you know what it's going to be? It's going to be about 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so, however long we can, but it's going to be a short time frame, but we're just going to do a Q&A, some sharing from the Word, Tuesday's Word Live, where we can talk about our feelings, encourage one another, and just have a short connection with each other, with me specifically, on Tuesdays, so that we can see one another. Those of you that are able to join, We can talk to one another. We can ask questions and just not feel so disconnected. And I hope that this would take off and, be something that would be helpful. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a total failure. Maybe nobody wants to talk to me. That's fine. But, maybe nobody will show up. But I'm going to try it. Okay. So Tuesday's Word Live is coming back starting this coming Tuesday. It's going to be at 10 a.m., one at 10 a.m. and one at 6 p.m. for everybody who can join. And we don't really have a big agenda. Like I said, just about 30 minutes of sharing some thoughts. I'll share what I'm seeing from my world. I can answer any questions about our church, life problems. We can pray for one another. Kind of just an interactive small group, if you will, that we will do on Tuesday. So we're going to launch that this coming Tuesday. So 3 things. Change our mindset. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Number 2, this is where we all need to build our strength stronger and deeper by fixing our hope in the Lord. We are in His hands. My kids are in His hands. Look, I've got 4 kids. They've got significant others. 3 of them do. Grandchildren, just like all of you. My parents are older. I love all of you. I carry the burden of all of you that are immunocompromised or have underlying health issues. I'm worried about my church family as well. And I have to trust God in this. I don't know where it's going. I don't know how it will impact all of us, but it will impact us and change our lives. This is where we fix our hope in the Lord for His plans and purposes and for our lives, for our world, for our church. Just trusting God. And I'm seeing so many good things. And then the third thing is we've got to talk to each other. We've got to learn to listen better. We have to be engaged. We have to be honest with our feelings of what we're going through and to connect with each other. And don't allow yourself to slide back into depression. Reach out. You're the only one, if you're watching this at home and you're feeling blue and depressed, you're the only person who's probably knowing that right now, okay? And if you don't reach out and say, hey, I just need to talk for a while. Can I talk out my fears and feelings? If you don't do that, no one can do it for you. So connect. Anyway, I think that's about it. My notes are saying that's about it. I know this has been lengthy, but I just wanted to share with you in this 22-minute update here on April 1st that I'm thinking of you. I love you. And we're going to get through this. We're going to do it with the Lord's help, and we're going to get through it together. And our strength will not be small. Our strength will grow. Our depth will increase. We will face this day of adversity and come out persevering on the other side. And the Lord is with us. So much love. If you're going to be at prayer meeting at 6 o'clock, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.